Hi, welcome to my channel, Read a Woman. My name's Judy, and let's talk something new and exciting. I've been thinking that I was wanting to do some kind of PG Wodehouse read-along. And I kept going, oh, what month, what does, and then I was like, why wait? And so I am putting out an invitation for you to join me every Wednesday, and let's read a short story by P.G. Wodehouse. I have this lovely little book. Isn't it sweet? And it's my Meet Mr. Mulliner. Mr. Mulliner stories are where I started off with P.G. Wodehouse. It wasn't Jeeves and Bertie. It wasn't even Lord Emsworth. It was Mr. Mulliner at the Angler's Rest. And so I have always loved the Mulliner stories. So I thought I would start there. And my idea is to have Wodehouse Wednesdays and just to read a short story together. Hopefully you join me. If not, you can always listen and hear what I have to say as I'm giggling to what P.G. Wodehouse has written. The first story, of course, is The Truth About George. Let's see here, just to give you, in case you're sitting on the fence. Two men were sitting in the bar parlor of the Angler's Rest as I entered it, and one of them, I gathered from his low, excited voice and wide gestures, was telling the other a story. I could hear nothing but an occasional, biggest I ever saw in my life, and fully as large as that. But in such a place it was not difficult to imagine the rest. And when the second man, catching my eye, winked at me with a sort of humorous misery, I smiled sympathetically back at him. And that was, oh, okay. The action had the effect of establishing a bond between us. And when the storyteller finished his tale and left, he came over to my tale, as if answering a formal invitation. Dreadful liars some men are, he said genially. Fishermen, I suggested, are traditionally careless of the truth. He wasn't a fisherman, said my companion. That was our local doctor. He was telling me about his latest case of dropsy. Besides, he tapped me earnestly on the knee, you must not fall into the popular error about fishermen. Tradition has maligned them. I'm a fisherman myself, and I have never told a lie in my life. I could well believe it. He was a short, stout, comfortable man of middle age, and the thing that struck me first about him was the extraordinarily childlike candor of his eyes. They were large and round and honest. I would have bought oil stock from him without a tremor. The door leading into the white, dusty road opened, and a small man with rimless netzpins and an anxious expression shot in like a rabbit, and had consumed a gin and ginger beer almost before we knew he was there. Having thus refreshed himself, he stood looking at us, seemingly ill at ease. "N-n-n-n-n," he said. We looked at him inquiringly. "Nice d-d-d-d." His nerve appeared to fail him, and he vanished as abruptly as he had come. I think he was leading up to telling us that it was a nice day, hazarded my companion. It must be very embarrassing, I said, for a man with such a painful impediment in his speech to open conversation with strangers. Probably trying to cure himself, like my nephew George. Have I ever told you about my nephew George? I reminded him that we had only just met and that this was the first time I had learned he had a nephew George. Young George Mulliner. My name is Mulliner. I will tell you about George's case in many ways. A rather remarkable one. So that is the beginning of Meet Mr. Mulliner. And we will start with The Truth About George and just work our way through the first collection of short stories. Now what I was going to tell you is alas, I had bought the complete short stories of Mr. Mulliner, which was very thick paperback, and I lent it to a friend and it never came back to me. And so unfortunately, these are all the stories I have, but they're easy to find. I know the libraries will have them, and I hope you want to join in and read along. I also have other books of short stories. I've got Wodehouse on crime, which this one has a variety of options, because we're talking about Blanding's Uckridge, which I've never really read the Uckridge stories. More of Mr. Mulliner's stories. And Indiscretions of Archie, which might be Smith. Maybe not. Anyways, lots of stories. He did a great job with very humorous stories, and he wrote a lot of them. And as we go, I figure we'll tackle the novels. I would prefer to start with Blanding's Castle or Uncle Fred in the Springtime. But anyways, let me know if you're interested and what your favorites are. I hope you join me, and I'll be back on Wednesday to finish up with Stuttering George. Take care. Bye.